So I just upgraded the lower on this 13.9 here to our LRF lower. It's a collaboration between us and Sons of Liberty Gunworks. Started to put a lot of the parts on it, and this is a great opportunity for us to actually show off our castle nut punch, because I just put a new castle nut, new end plate on here, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get that properly staked using the castle nut punch. Now there's a few things we're gonna talk about before we do that. The biggest thing is that this is very sharp. That's why we ship it with a cap on. It is D2 steel. It is hardened. It is very, very sharp. We're going to be using a BCM end plate on here. Our end plate is also great. We're also going to be using our castle nut for the Voltor A5 system, but this process is going to work the exact same on just a standard castle nut. So we're going to get this prepped here. I got our sling on here. What's nice about our sling is it has a quick disconnect, so you're able to just disconnect it. So we don't need this for the whole process. I'm actually just going to set this aside, and we'll go ahead and get started staking this. Now, ideally you would be in a vise for this because I wanted to be able to show you guys how to do this and have Noah here in front of us. I did actually move us to this. So we're going to be a hair wobblier on this, this setup here, but we're still going to have plenty of stability to be able to get it done. One thing I want to point out about our castle nuts is the location of the staking reliefs actually allow you to stake in minimum 2 places in any location. So that is one thing that we do with our castle nut. The other thing that's worth mentioning here is this little bit of fluting. This does give you the ability to hand seat the castle nut to the point where then you can torque it. I already torqued this to spec off of screen, so I'm not gonna show you guys torquing it, but that is something I wanna note about our castle nut, is that it's designed for super easy installation. That fluting only ever really matters once when you're installing it, but still, it's a benefit. It's one of those small little details that's simple in execution, but gives you guys a little bit of benefit. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna find our first staking point. I'm not gonna be able to lay this on the side until I do this one. So this one's gonna be the hardest one, so I'm gonna do this one first. And what we're gonna do is we're just going to set it, and what we're aiming for is we're aiming for dead center, if we could imagine the center of the radius of the castle nut. So we're aiming for the dead center point. What we're gonna do is get it seated to where we want it, and we're just gonna give it one good tap. And I don't know if you can see that, but that gives us kind of a starting point. And this is great. You just want to send that one little tap, make sure that that's where you want to start staking before you start giving it some serious energy. And so now that I know for a fact that's where I want it to go, I am going to give it 3 good whacks. And you'll notice what I actually did was I stopped in between every single hit to make sure I hadn't skipped or jumped out of the placement. So I'm going to give it just a few more. So as you can see, we've started to displace that material a little bit into that, that staking relief. And what I can then do is I can actually start aiming towards that little notch a little bit. I still want to keep this oriented vertically with that center line. I don't want to be moving off to one side or the other, but I can start to aim and bias towards that notch. And as you can see, I have displaced material into that castle nut, and it is now staked. So that's just one side. This orientation actually gives us the ability to do 3. 3 is a little overkill, and this way is going to be a lot easier. So again, I'm aiming for the center of that radius. And I'm just going to start it, right? So see, I just did a little starter punch, and happy with that placement. So I'm going to give it 3 good whacks. This is a BCM end plate, so it takes staking pretty easily, which is one of the things we like about it. Our end plate also takes a stake pretty easily. One thing that's worth pointing out is these serrations give me a lot of control, and it's not really slipping. And these don't prevent me from being able to stake. They just give me some traction with my fingers to be able to place them and stake correctly. So as you can see, have displaced some material into that notch there. We do have a perfectly staked castle nut, and we're gonna go put this together and we're gonna go shoot it. So I hope that answered some questions for you guys on what the Castle Nut Punch is and how to use it. It is, it's not a golf tee, although you can use it as one if you would like to. It's very sharp, so please be careful with it. Even though this is very, very hard, you can still actually potentially break a end plate if you use one of those super hardened, super heat treated end plates. So like the Magpul one, I hate to call one out like that, but that's just an example of one that doesn't seem to like staking very well. It's a very, very hard metal. And because this is D2 and this is also very hard, both of them are going to be pretty brittle. So you could either crack the end plate or possibly even damage this tool. And if you guys have any questions, please don't be afraid to email us or shoot us a message on Facebook or Instagram. We try to check those as often as we can and get you guys an answer pretty quick. But thank you guys so much and have a good day.